friends. Welcome to another episode of Scarlett Letter Show. I'm your host, Scarlett Santa Maria. And tonight I have the house music producer and DJ, skater, and fashion fanatic, Drew Dapps.
Yo.
Oh, welcome to being in the show.
What's good, Scarlett? Thank you for having me on. I'm hyped to be here. I'm hyped to get this Jenga popping.
You ready to get the Jenga popping? Well, you're going to go first because you're my guest.
Word? All right. Let's get it.
How was your grandpa's birthday, by the way? We actually pushed the interview back to an hour because Mr. Dapps had to celebrate his grandpa's 90th birthday. That's pretty sick.
Off top's good looking. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It was definitely popping. We went to CPK, and it's popping every time we go to CPK. You already know. We go in there, and they know him by name.
Oh, you know, yeah? What's your favorite pizza to order?
Shoot, I really mess with the Cali veggie off tops. That's the slapper to me. What about you? You be going there?
I don't go to CPK that much, but maybe next time I'll go and I tell them I know you, maybe they'll give me a discount.
Say you Dapps fan.
Okay, Dapps fan, the Dapps fan discount. Maybe y'all can use it too. Who knows? All right, Dapps. I'm so excited to hear your story and to know more about you. I want to start with, how was little Drew Dapps like? You grew up in Blue Diamond, Las Vegas. How was that experience for you?
Yeah. So, little Dapps. Well, when I was little, I was definitely into music. Like, ever since a young buck, I've been on the music tip, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't necessarily, like, into electronic music, per se. But, like, I always loved playing music and I loved performing for people. Because, like, when I was in elementary school, I picked up guitar just because my big brother was heavy into guitar and he was, like, really going hard and, like, pushing to become a professional and to, like, go to school for it and stuff. So I think that musicality, like, rubbed off on me. And you know how it'd be, like, growing up with siblings, like, the little brother try to be like the big brother and like the little sister try to be like the big sister, you feel me? So
you said you didn't start with house music. I know you started off with hip hop, right? That was what you started with?
Yeah, so when I started producing, I was more into like hip hop, and that was like my goal was to like make beats for artists for them to hop onto and kind of like make a shop of instrumentals and have like rappers and singers that would work with me. And that was like my focus when I first started learning how to produce. It's more so building with artists and being like a behind the scenes producer. But eventually like I found my way when I moved out here, and that's when I really fell in love with house music. And I just, from that moment, I just had to like switch it up and do what felt true to me. And what felt true to me was going down like the solo artist route and making music that resonates with me. Oh.
Oof, that's close.
Good save. And, but yeah, anyways, it's been about 3 years since I rebranded as a producer, and I've been really happy with how it's going, so good looks when asking.
Yeah, and what was there like a specific event or something that made you just go dive deep into house music here in San Diego?
Yeah, for sure. So when I first moved here, it was like right when I turned 21, actually. So that's like when you're eligible to step out to the club, you know what I'm saying? So I was excited to see what it's all about, especially being in a new city. And I popped out to Spin.
Spin!
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's a spot.
That's a spot. If you know, you know. But that was my first time really being exposed to underground house sound, because at that point, like, I had kind of like shifted my focus already as far as like the sound of my productions, switched from hip hop to house. But all I had really been exposed to and all I really knew was more like EDM, like more commercial sound. So even though I thought that was hard, and there's still some stuff that I like that's of that sound, I think it's when I popped out the spin and I heard the minimal D-Tech grooves. I was like, boy, I need to get on that.
That's my shit.
You feel me? That's exactly what I said. And I was like, yo, I know if I apply myself, make this sound, then I can do it. So then from that day forward, I applied myself.
You applied yourself. How do you apply yourself?
The thing with being a producer is it's easy to get caught up in like saying you're a producer, but not actually doing the work, you feel me? And I think the #1 game changer for me was when I took this course, actually. It's like an online course. It's called Finish More Music. Shout out to Keith Mills, homie that runs the program in the UK. But it's basically like a class that teaches you how to be prolific. And I think when I took that class and I learned like what it takes to be a prolific producer that has a consistent output, I think that's when I applied myself officially and when it was like on for real, for real. So shout out to Keith Mills, homie in the UK holding it down. And I think just getting in the studio every morning and making a habit of it like he teaches, that's the way. That's how you apply yourself.
Yeah, you took yourself seriously. You look for the tools to nourish your brain to get that knowledge, because that's really the only way we can learn. Really, like you gotta really look for ways to expose yourself to that information, so you can have the knowledge to apply it to your craft.
Yeah, on top. So you gotta nourish the brain. That's the most vital organ in your body.
It sure is. That's what got us where we are right now. And I know that one of your biggest challenges, and I've read in one of your interviews, is that you deal with imposter syndrome.
Yeah, for sure. I think that just comes with being a creative a lot of the time. But you know what? I think one of the biggest things that's been a help to me, which I learned from the homie Tim Ferriss. But Tim Ferriss, he's just a boss. I don't even really know what he does, but he has a podcast and he's a author. But in his book, he like interviewed world-class performers, like all types of people, like Tony Hawk, you know, like actors, all types of people from all walks of life, like successful people. And one of the biggest things I learned from his book is called Tools of Titans. One thing I learned was the jar of awesome method, which I think other people call it like the cookie jar, which my boy Keith Mills talked about that too. But basically, every time like you do something that you're like proud of or is like an accomplishment in your eyes, you write it like on a little piece of paper and then put it in a jar. And I think that seeing the jar and like keeping it out like on my table and seeing it filled with like all these moments that were a moment of triumph to me or like a accomplishment that I felt proud of, write it down and put it in there. I think like seeing that, I'm like, shit.
What was the last thing you put in that jar?
The last thing I put in that jar was that I got booked for a space yacht show. Because that was like one of my biggest goals when I started off in-house, was like, damn, space yacht popping, I'm trying to play a space yacht show. So now that happened, you know, I had to write it in there. And yeah, every time like something like that happens, I try to like really not just be on to the next thing, you feel me? Like it's important to continue to have goals, but at the same time, you gotta look back and be proud of what you've accomplished already and not forget that like you got the juice.
You got the juice.
Yeah, and it's easy to like just be already on to the next horizon. They call that like the hedonic treadmill or whatever, you feel me? Like whatever is new in your life, like you get used to it with the quickness. So I just think that's a really good method, like for anybody that struggles with imposter syndrome, or like you ever feel like you're not the real deal. I think that's like a good treatment for it.
Wow,
You know?
that's a great advice.
Yeah, good looks.
I love that because I'm all about the self-improvement, self-awareness journey because that's the only way we can really grow.
Facts.
Do you have a favorite book, like your absolutely favorite book?
You know what, that's a great question, and I think that I do. And it's not like a book in the normal sense, like where it's like a story or it like teaches you like one specific thing. But this book I'm talking about is called The Daily Stoic. And rather than like reading it, like binge reading it, like you're supposed to just read a page a day. And like it's like a short excerpt from these OG Stoic philosophers, like, and the stuff they saying, it really relates to today, even though like it's like ancient wisdom. And there'll be like a little transcription to make it like a little more modernized by the author is Ryan Holiday. He kind of like modernizes the text and does a little summary on it. But I think that's just what gives me clarity in life and like just helps to make me feel happy, and that's why it's my favorite book.
And you also go on inspiration quests, right?
Big facts.
What's your next one?
Man, I don't even really be planning it out like that because I have like a document on my computer. It's called Inspiration Quest. Shout out to Ari Herstand, the artist who put me onto that in his book. But he just talking about how it's important to get outside, like do something you normally wouldn't do. And his main takeaway is observing other types of art and appreciating it is very important to feeding your own creativity, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially kind of art that you wouldn't normally take in, you feel me?
Yeah.
So
it's important to get your brain out of what you're used to.
yeah, totally.
I love that. By the way, you're killing it on the social media game. That was a good one, I must say. You were like on it. Wow, I was sweating, like my hands are sweating. It's time for you to spin the wheel of misfortune.
No way. I literally just said I was scared of this one.
Oh shit. All right, this is the first time that we get a drink me. So we got for you a little mystery punch.
Mystery punch, let's get it.
Let's
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up, bottoms up.
Okay. That's strong.
Chug, chug, chug. What do you think it is?
So what do you think it is?
Definitely not no apple juice. That's for sure.
So it's rum with raspberry liqueur and lemon juice.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, it could have been way worse.
Yeah.
I just made that face because I'm a lightweight.
Okay, we're on to the next section of the show, but before we do that, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. Seamless Podcast Studio produces a number of highly rated shows and podcasts and is a service of Nest Cowork, San Diego's #1 rated co-working space located in Bakersfield next to downtown. Learn more about Nest Cowork and Seamless Podcast Studio at nestcowork.io. Tell them Scarlett sent you and get an extra 10% off all co-working and related services. And we're back, and now it's time for the Time Capsule. section, I'm gonna show you some pictures of yourself that I found on the interwebs, and you're gonna tell me the story behind it, okay?
Okay, I'm scared.
And first one is...
Oh yeah, that's a major throwback for sure. So
You look happy.
yeah, I was definitely happy. That was one of the first times I tried surfing before I lived here in San Diego. Like, I'll come to visit my family, and my uncle shreds, you know what I'm saying? So he got the hookup on the boards. So I decided to step out, face my fears, see what's up with surfing, and go out with my uncle and my big brother. And I let him show me up one time. I don't think I caught any waves despite me looking like a shredder. And despite the smile, I don't think I smashed it that day, but it was still fun.
Not shredding, but it's still fun.
Yeah, up tops.
Next one. This is pretty great. That's like your little Camp Dappington brand.
Yeah,
I love it.
That was like one of the first Camp Dappington brand type things I did off tops. So what this particular graphic is, I made it myself, as you can probably tell.
Okay, you got Photoshop skills?
Yeah, you already know. But I was doing a little blog before I had my playlist, Drew Dapps Slaps. I just list out 5 slaps, 5 songs that I was digging that week. And I think this was one of the artworks that I made for it. Like, it even got like my old logo on there. So yeah, that's from way back. But
It's great.
Thank you. I think I was wearing my mom's hat, and that's what inspired me to get these flicks and cut them up, making a little edit. But my favorite part about this, I had to say, I kind of snapped with me behind the mountain passing off the doink. Like, that's like some OG cowboy shit right there. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm still proud of that graphic design I did right there.
Yeah, it's sick.
Good looks.
Look at the next one.
Hey yo.
Skater boy.
Hell yeah, that's a more recent flick right there. That was from the top of the year, like early in 2021. It was my first time ever working with a skate photographer, actually. So shout out to the homie Bug. He's shot like a lot of dope magazines and all that type of stuff. So I was happy that I could link up with him to work through like a bit of a different photo shoot from what I'm used to. So we went around town, we hit Balboa Park, which is where this photo was taken. It's like a 8 stair, I believe. But we had a whole bunch of spots that day, but this picture was one of my favorites that we got, because he only used the flicks that are lands, as he calls it. So like this kickflip, it was landed.
Landed.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It might be a little bit rocketed, but it was still a fun day, and I'm hype I got the kickflip on. And since it was like a pandemic, security was not out and they weren't tripping about us skating, so it all worked out.
Hell yeah. And the next one.
Ratatouille, that's my favorite movie
Ratatouille.
of all time.
I love that movie too.
That's like GOAT movie right there. So I pulled up to Urban Outfitters one day. I saw they had a shirt, and I said, boy, I'm copping that, no questions asked. So I copped this shirt, and if you look closely, I also got the icy Eiffel Tower necklace on. If you guys zoom in on
wow,
that.
You do full on Ratatouille.
It's a fit right there, you know what I'm saying?
The whole ass
But
look.
what inspired me to take this flick and embrace the look was the fact that like I just went on a date, like a dating app date, which you never know how that's gonna go.
Yeah,
and
you
I
never
learned my
know.
lesson after this, because homegirl said she did not like Ratatouille.
Oh,
And I'm not even playing when I said I got up and walked away.
seriously?
Like, being dead ass. Like, I knew she wasn't the one right then and there, and I wasn't trying to waste my time anymore. So I got up and I left. She hit my phone like, what went wrong? I said, you know what went wrong. You don't fuck with Ratatouille.
You're freaking ripping Ratatouille. How is she gonna say that? Oh hell no.
I mean, I don't know if I had to give it to her that straight, but that's definitely what happened.
Wow, that was an awesome story. And the last one, you're like, yay, I'm a DJ.
That's literally what that face says. So that was my first time playing a downtown events Las Vegas show. Shout out to Collective Zoo for putting me on the lineup. I opened up with my man's Yawa, who's behind me. He's also doing the I'm a DJ.
The other hand, yeah.
You can't see him, but we were both hyped. We played a back-to-back, so we were both like mega stoked on it. And we warmed up the night for Vanessa and Walker and Royce and Sage Armstrong too. So mega stacked lineup, and we're happy to be a part of it. And saw all the homies pull up. Yawa's parents pulled up. My mom's pulled up, so it was hype.
So special. Yeah. All right, well that's fantastic. You have had a really cool story for each picture.
Thank
and
you.
We're gonna take it a step further with the next section, which is the human experience. And in this section, I'm gonna ask you some self-awareness questions, how you see yourself, life, the world. And the first question is, what do you want to be remembered for?
Just making slappers and for making a difference in people's lives. And I think if you make slappers, you can't make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
But mainly, I just want to be remembered as like somebody who cares, somebody who shows love.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Next question. Do you have any words or a quote that you live by?
Yo, so definitely got a lot of quotes that I live by. So yeah, that's a good question off tops. And I actually have this one particular quote that I have on my vision board. So in my studio, I'm looking at it every day when I sit down to work. And it's by Stephen Pressfield, which is an author I really dig. And what he said is, the most important thing about art is work. Nothing else matters except for sitting down every day and trying. And I love that too, because it's just facts, you know what I'm saying? Because it's never gonna be perfect. You just gotta get in there every day and try. And that's giving me solace.
And apply yourself.
Straight up.
Hey, I love that quote. The next question is, what can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago?
Yo, so off tops, that's another good question. Now, I can do switch 360 flips on the skateboard. So, if you don't know me, I love skating. And I always try to level up the sauce a little bit when I go out to skate. And lately I've been getting switch 3 flips down and I'm hyped on it, so good looks.
Hey, you can probably check out his Instagram for those flips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next question is, what makes you angry?
You know, to keep it a buck, I don't really get mad at much, but I think when my shoelaces are untied and they keep coming untied, like that's my pet peeve, bro. You feel me? Like I need my shit to stay tight.
Stay tight.
Like if I'm walking and like I step on the aglets, I'm like, no. I wouldn't say it makes me angry, but it's like my number one thing that gets on my nerves.
All right, that's valid. You know?
Oh, you feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. And the last question is, if you had to be someone else for one day, who would you be?
Any ideas?
Yo, I mean, there's nobody else in the world I want to be besides Drew Dapps, and that's on everything. But if I could be someone else, I would want to be a pet cat for one day. Just because I just want to see what it's like to be a cat, especially an indoor house cat. But it should be an outside cat would probably go hard too, but that's what I would want to be for one day.
Really?
Not a person, definitely a cat.
Why? Like, what do you think attracts you to the idea of being a cat?
Well, I was just cooling with a cat the other day, my brother's cat, and I was thinking like, homie, just be resting all day, and then I'll play with him occasionally, and that's fun too. And I feel like that life wouldn't be so bad.
You're damn right. Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, living the cat life. Everybody wants to be a cat. They were right. Disney was right. All right. Thank you for answering this set of questions.
They're good questions. Thank you.
It's been so much fun. And I have one last thing for you. Well, two more things. But first is the Scarlett Letter. Okay, from this letter, I found, since you like quotes, I found a quote that reminded me of you. And then you can open this.
Good looks. Yeah, I'll use this.
Oh wait, you gotta get it out of there first. But like,
I've never seen one of these jokes before. Okay.
There you go.
Perfect. This is some Harry Potter shit right here. Feel like I'm getting accepted into Hogwarts. Alright, so
Any ideas?
should I read it?
Yeah.
Alright, it says, it is not always the doing well that measures the fame of a man. The hero is he who the world can see is doing the best he can.
Oh.
It rhymes, okay.
Hey.
I'll mess with the rhyme in a fresh slap.
There you
good
go.
looking. You know I like the slaps.
I know you like the slaps. And one more slap. We got one more slap to go, which is the mystery box, your party souvenir.
So I got another souvenir? Alright, bet.
Okay, now we have the mystery box, your party souvenir. Close your eyes and put your hand in there and let's see what you get.
Hold up. Nah, I'll take that one. Thank you.
Someone you can give it to.
There you go. Well, I really appreciate having you here. I love how I told you like off camera, like I saw that you were like a really bright individual by how you nurture your mind, like all your self-awareness, your self-improvement journey. It's like really impressive. And congratulations on all your accomplishments. Keep fucking rocking, dude.
Congrats to you, homie. Thank you for having me on. Big fan of the show. Love what you're doing. Happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you all on Thursdays.